Hey everybody, this is Dave coming to you from the Gaming Cave. Today we're going to start our playthrough of 8th Air Force from Fortress Games. Alright, so we're going to talk about the setup. I'm going to show you, I did part of the setup already. I also want to just talk about a couple things here. The first one is the counters. As you can see, they're nice and thick, and they're stiff, and they're laser cut. And there's a little, and I don't have it because I got rid of it after I was punching everything. There's a little piece of paper in there that says, hey, these are laser cut. There's some residue. Use a damp cloth and wipe them off before punching out. Then when I posted my open the box video, I hadn't punched my counters yet. And I got the comments from the company that said, hey, just so you know, you got to wipe the edges with the damp cloth. So when I was punching them out, that's when I read it. I'd started punching them and my hands were I was getting like black all over my hands. I was like, oh man, those things still got a lot of residue on it. Well, then I saw that comment. So I went back through and I wiped everything on all four edges with a damp cloth. And you definitely get a lot of black comes off of those. But it is, makes nice. But I just wanted to say that in case you haven't either got the game yet, or maybe you haven't punched yours yet. When you punch it, you're going to have to wipe the edges off just with a damp cloth. I used a damp washcloth, wrung it out real good just so it picks that residue up from the laser cutting. Okay. So the other thing was, do I play the full campaign or do I play there's a scenario for Big Week where it starts in, I think it's like June of 44, and you play it out from there. And that's the one that I worked on, learning the playthroughs a little bit. And so at first I was like, that's shorter, be easier to do, less turns. But my interest is really in starting with at the beginning when you don't have a lot of resources. The Germans are going to be building up against. It's going to be really tough in the beginning. And that's what I wanted to start with. So I'm going for the full thing. We'll see how all the videos go. If you get tired of them, I may switch off and maybe come back later on or something. But that's what I'm going to play right now. Okay, so on the setup here on the board, you can see this is kind of like your staging area for your aircraft. Up here on the main part of the board, you have your damaged forces area for the German and the USAF, and then I have all my major targets up here. You have your industries. Okay, so they're the black. This is the difference in edition 2. In the second edition, they color coded this stuff. You have your oil refineries, and then you have your aircraft factories. These are victory points that the Germans earn or lose. The oil is for the refit, and the aircraft industries are for new manufacturing. Okay, so it's important that we start hammering on some of that because we got to slow down the victory points. At the same time, we got to slow down forces that they're getting back, and at the same time, we got to hit their extra campaigns, the bombing campaigns that were assigned. Okay, in this scenario, the first bombing campaign are sub bases, and the sub bases are over here. There is Saint Nazaire and Brest. That's the only two. They're both in Zone 8. Okay. And last but not least is this sheet, which I know you're not going to be able to read from the view, but it has your game calendar here, and it has your turn phases here, and then we have our bombing campaigns. If our bombing campaign moves out to here, and you'll see how that goes every turn when we score, then you're sacked, game's over, you lost. Okay. For this starting campaign, we have the AA +2 that's going to get assigned, and then the Germans have 3 Focke-Wulf 190s groups, a BF 109 group, and 6 BF 110 groups. None of them have extra squadrons with them. And then I get 2 B-17 groups. Each one of them comes with a squadron, a B-24 group, and a P-38 for my fighter escort group. Okay, so this is the part that I haven't set up yet. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to show you how to do this just because there's a couple rules for the initial setup. And the table that we'll be using is right here, and it's called Luftwaffe new group placement. We're going to start with I'm actually going to place the anti-aircraft gun first. We roll 2 dice, a red and a green. I'm not going to shift the camera all the time over to the die roll. I'll set them over here after I roll them. So we're looking, and we get a 4 and a 4. So in this case, it's green 4, red 4. So it goes in zone 4, which is way over here. Well, that's good, because I wasn't planning on attacking anything over there. Now we got to place the 3 Focke-Wulf squadrons. So here we go. So we get green 4, red 3, zone 4. Okay, so one of the Focke-Wulfs is out there. Now I want to say this about the anti-aircraft. That +2 is for the whole sector. Okay, so if it's over here, it's everything. It modifies the anti-aircraft for that sector. Okay. All right. Next Focke-Wulf is green 5, red 4. Green 5, red 4. Now you see these numbers. They're 6, 1. Okay. Columns 5 and 6 reflect pre-post retreat placement. If the track on the left has been retreated from, use the track on the right. It has not been. Okay, so we have 5 and 4. That is a zone 6. That Focke-Wulf is over here. Okay, we got one more, and it is 6 and 6. 6 and 6 goes in 8. So that Focke-Wulf is out there. I really didn't want him out there. Okay, here comes the 109. The 109s get a 3 and a 5. 3 and a 5 is zone 3. So he's right there. Oh, I need to put him up in the, not in my area. Okay. All right. Now we're down to the 110s. So I can tell you this. We can roll for all these. And if you get one that's already there, you got to put it in the next lowest one. Because it's the 110s and there's no difference in them, we're going to finish filling out what we have. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that leaves us 2 110s. Now we're going to roll for them, and they can be in any of the zones. So the first one is green 5, red 4. Green 5, red 4 is zone 6. So you got a 190 and a 110 there. And we get a 4. We get a 6 and a 4, which is zone 8. Crap. That sucks. Because I really wanted to go hit them sub bases. And I probably still will, but I really didn't want those guys out there in that area. That was not where I wanted them to be. I can tell you that. Okay. All right. Okay, next thing we're doing is we got the calendar set up. It's January 1943. We have sub that we have to go. I have these guys. The first thing we do is the RAF attack mission. Okay. And there's an RAF attacks table, 1943, and we roll. I'm going to use the green die, and a 5 or 6 means they do something for us. This is what we want. We get 4. 4 NA, so they didn't help me. I was really hoping for them because they hit one of the heavy targets, and I could help myself out. Okay, I didn't get that. Okay. So the RAF attacks didn't do it. Now mission construction. So I got to decide where I'm going to go. Well, I'm going to hit one of these sub bases. And because there's so many fighters there, I'm going to take both my B-17 squadrons and my P-38 fighter escort, and I'm sending them to Brest. So I'm going to try to slip in on the coast here and hit those guys. Now, I don't want to risk my B-24s coming over there. So I think I'm going to send them after one of these targets here on the coast. So because I got 110s here, I'm going to send my B-24s. I'm going to send them in, I think in zone 2 this time, and he's going to Osnabrück. Okay, so I have my mission constructed. Now we execute missions. Okay, so we'll start right here. So I have my mission. So they're going to move up. We know we're going to Osnabrück right here. I don't have any fighter escort. So what happens is the 110s plus the anti-aircraft fire are going to attack me. Okay, so we get combat results right here, and there's a combat factor. So I add 4 for the anti-aircraft fire, 1 for the 110s, because I don't have any fighter escort to protect me. To got to run the risk of these 110s. So that makes it a 5. Okay, so their firepower is 5, which drops down. You use the next, you can't go to the next highest, you always go to the lowest. So it has to be at 7 to get to the column 7. So they're on this second column right here. We roll 2 dice, red and the green. We roll these and we get 3 and a 6. That's not good. They get a 3 on this column, which is good. That's a 0. So that means no damage. The 6, if they'd have gotten the damage, let's say it was 1, then the 6 would have come down here on the 1 and we would have had 1 destroyed. But they got 0 damage on me. So I avoided the fighters, and I get to fire back at the fighters, and I have firepower of 4. So I use firepower 3, and my squadron is 1, so that's 4. So I roll on the same column at this BF-110, and we fire on him, and we get just as bad. I got 2 and 3, so we know 2's a miss, so no damage to the 110s. Because we survived that, this target gets bombed, and we have a cup full of these little markers. Okay, and we're going to we pull one out, and it is a number 5, and you'll see the significance of that later. And I messed up. Okay, so remember my roll was 3 and 6 for the Germans. This was actually 4, and 1 was 5, plus 3 was 8, the anti-aircraft at the target. So it would have been a 7 on a 3 was a hit of 1, and down there was 1. See, this is damage destroyed. I got destroyed. So my squadron got eliminated. Okay, but my group is still there. So what happens to that? Well, yeah, it'd be easier to pick it up and move it probably, because you won't be able to see it. Over here, this is called the dead pool. They're not a pile, the dead pile. I don't have them in a pile, but I got them separated by the bombers and the fighter groups. Okay, so they go into the dead pile. Okay, and the B-24s are home, and we hit the first target. That's going to help us. That's a victory point here, so that'll help us. Okay, now we're coming over here to Zone 8. Get my camera situated here. All right, they're coming at Brest. All right, so we know we're coming to Brest. We have P-38s that are coming in first, and then the bombers after that. Okay, first thing we got to do is the Luftwaffe has to roll a scramble. This is a coastal, so they roll, I'm going to use the red die for the Luftwaffe, and they roll a crap 6. Which means now I wish I'd have sent my other bombers over there and I could have hit Nazaire also, probably. They sit all of them. So all their fighters are attacking. So they have 7 attacking my P-38s first. My P-38s have 5. So this is simultaneous combat. So we'll roll for the Luftwaffe first. Oops, I dropped my die. Okay, so we roll the red and the green die, and they're on column 7. And they get 2 and a 2. A 2 on 7 is 1. Okay, and now we look at number, and that's 1 damage. So we go to the damaged 1, and a 2 there is 1 damaged. So my fighter group squadron got damaged, and he goes into the damaged staging area. Now, I had 5 to fight back with, which is 4. So we're going to attack. And we get junk. I got a 1, which is 0. So I didn't do any damage to him in that dogfight. Okay, P-38s are done. They come back out. Now my bombers are going to get attacked by this same group, so they get to add them to that. Okay, they have 1 anti-aircraft fire. They have 7 there, that's 8. And at Brest, they have 1, so that's firepower of 9. So it goes on to the 7 column. Okay, here we go. So they fire with a 4 and a 6. So the 4 is a 1 hit and the 6 is 1 destroyed. So that would be one of my squadrons gets destroyed. Okay, I get to fire back with 6, 7, 8. He's gone now. But I had firepower of 8, which puts us on column 7. We return fire with my bombers. I get a 2, which is 1 hit, and I got a 6, which is 1 destroyed. And you take the weakest unit, which is the BF-110. Now he comes off, and he goes over here into the dead pile for the Germans, for the Luftwaffe. Okay, so we eliminated them. We lost a squadron. They lost a group. And the bombers dropped their bombs on Brest. Okay. And on Brest, they get number 3. Okay. All right. And my bombers come home. And they're like that. All right. And that was execute missions. Now we score the campaigns. And notice our campaign started at 0. So that's it. The battles are over. And we score. So I got to jump over here to scoring. Make sure I do this right. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do is we take the number of the industries that I damaged. And I damaged this one here at Osnabrück. So I get 1 victory point for that. Okay. There are 9 of these on the board. Okay. He has 8 left. So he gets 8 victory points for that. Okay. So I take 1 and he gets 8. So that's 7. So he gets 7 victory points. So up here on my victory point track, I move it to 7. All right. Now I do this in stages because there's another couple things that you got to add. But I want to do it one at a time because otherwise I tend to screw up my math. Okay. Move the bombing campaign counter for each bombing. Okay, I should have started with that. Sorry, bombing campaigns first. Move the bombing campaign counter down to the left for each bombing campaign target. So I bombed Brest. So over here, my bombing campaign, this goes down by 1. All right. Then move the bombing counter up for each unbombed. So I did not bomb Saint Nazaire, so it moves back up. So it's still at 0. So I didn't gain anything. I didn't lose anything just by hitting Brest. If I'd have hit both targets, then I would have got that down to a -2 and maybe not had to worry about it for a while. Okay, now we did the victory points for the war industry targets. Okay, so we did that. Germany receives 4 victory points for every USAF group, not squadron, in the dead pile or damaged forces staging area. Well, none there and none in my dead pile. So they get 0 points for that. And Germany receives 1 victory point if none of the 3 Berlin targets are bombed. You receive 1 victory point if all 3 are bombed. Okay, well, I didn't bomb any of them, so they get 1 point for that. So that puts them at 8 points. Okay, so they're now at 8. Okay. So if I would have been at negative, I would have won. Of course, I couldn't get all those targets the first time. So that's the end of that. All right, the next phase is Germany retreats. Well, no, it's not that time in the game yet, so we don't have to do that. So now we go Luftwaffe refit, then manufacture. Okay, So what happens is refits come from the damaged forces staging area. So I did not damage any of his forces. All right. The return groups, let's see, in squadrons, if there are no units or groups in the damaged force area, none are received. Okay. So they don't get any of the refit. So because I didn't damage any, they don't get those back. All right, next one is the manufacturers. They come from the Luftwaffe dead pile. Or if none are there, they run out. Okay, first to be received must be groups, then in the dead pile, and then if any are there, always starting with the strongest Luftwaffe group in ties, schools, school groups, and that so on. Okay, the return groups are placed in target tracks one at a time, just like we do new groups, and then squadrons come back, which are attached one at a time to the priority group. Okay. So we get one manufactured unit for every unbombed aircraft factory target. That's the green ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6. There's 6 of the red, 6 of the green. So they get 6 of these back. So they get their 110. That's 1. And then they get 5 squadrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So the first thing we do is assign the squadron first. Or the group. Sorry. The 110. So we're going to roll for new group placement. And we get a green 1, red 3. Green 1, red 3, area 1. So now he comes in. Everybody, first thing we do is check to make sure there's no areas without, and there's not. So he comes into area 1. So now there's 2 BF 110 groups there. All right. Now the squadrons come in and they get assigned by importance. What do they call it? Strongest Luftwaffe group gets them. So first we determine the strongest ones. Well, the strongest ones have a 6, the Focke-Wulfs. So they're all 3 going to get one first. And we would go with the lowest numbered here because they're all tied. So the first guy would be 4. And because no problem, all 3 Focke-Wulfs are going to get one. So he gets 1, he gets a squadron, and he gets a squadron out here in Zone 8. Okay, so that's how they get theirs situated. Now, that leaves me with 2. The next strongest one is this BF 109. He gets 1. So now we go with the next strongest ones. We got all 110s. So the area that gets them, because they're even, is the lowest numbered in this core, in this area here. So it's the core area. So it comes down to one of these 2 110s. It doesn't matter which one. So we give him a squadron. Okay. So they just picked up some firepower there with their squadrons. All right. Okay. Now we do German bombing repair. Okay, the way this works is you roll 2 dice. We roll these 2 dice and we get 6 and a 3. So any of the bomb symbols that have a 6 or a 3 on them come off. They get repaired. Well, he has a 5, so he doesn't come off. But daggone it, breast comes off. He had a 3, it goes back in the cup, and that's it. So they already repaired the sub pins over in breast. Okay, and that is the end of the first turn. So we come over here, and now we move this down a little bit so you can see. We move this down to February 1943. We come up here to Luftwaffe, moves AA, and reinforced core area plus 2 new groups. Okay, so we have, for the Luftwaffe, they're going to get 2 DE 520 schools, and the USAF gets a P-47, and all new groups come with one squadron attached. Okay. And our bombing campaigns are still only the sub-pens. All right. Okay. So just so I'm kind of following along with the rule book a little bit, just to make sure I don't miss something here while I get rolling again. Okay, first thing we do is move the Luftwaffe. So we're gonna, the anti-aircraft fire. Okay, so we roll, and it is red 6, green 3. So Luftwaffe 3 and a 6, it goes into area 3. So it was in area 4, now they've moved it over here to area 3. So that's the strength right there now. All right. Next up, we have to check for reinforce the core area. Okay, so in here, if any of the non-core areas, so the core areas are 1, 2, and 3, they're marked in red, so that's how you know the core area. If any of the non-core area targets have more Luftwaffe groups by at least 2, okay, so groups, these guys, he's a 3, so he has a 1, but they have 2. He only has 1, 1, 1, so nobody has it, so they don't reinforce anybody. So they stay where they're at right now. Okay, now new groups, consult the calendar, so we know there's 2 DE 520 groups coming on the board. That's these 2 right here, and they both get a squadron. It comes on with them. So they'll both have a squadron. And was there anything else? There was, no, that's what they get. Okay. So they're scheduled to arrive. Okay, permanently remove 12 groups, place the new ones. So there's nobody coming out. We place the new ones. We do this. Each arriving group has 1 attached squadron. Da 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 da. Arrange them left to right, and then we roll. So everybody, all the tracks have planes in them, so they don't get assigned there first. So now they're going to roll for group placement. So we roll for the first one, and it is a 6 and a 5, and it goes over in 8. So this DE 520 is over in 8, of course. And then we roll for the other group. And it is a 3 and a 4. So a 3 and a 4, it goes into area 3 right here. All right, so he's got 109s and DE 520s there. Okay. Now, the Americans are the next part of this. So we get our new groups. So we get a P-47 group. So I get a P-47, and he gets a squadron. So they get assigned right here. So I got my P-47 came in. So that's good. All right. Next thing we do is USAF, refit, and manufacture. Okay, so we get 1 fighter, 2 bombers. So if the FBCOM says, so for refit, it tells you 1 and 2. You receive 1 refitted fighter unit and 2 refitted bomber units. Okay. Refits can only come from the damaged forces staging area. First to be refitted must be groups in the damaged forces staging area. Those are placed back. Then squadrons come back, which you attach as you choose to your groups. If there's nobody in there, you don't get them. So I get this 1 group back. I'll put it back on with my B-17. So he's refitted right there. The 91st got his back. All right. And now we get manufacturer. So I get 1 fighter and 2 bombers. And this is squadrons that come out of the dead pile. Okay. There are no groups in the dead pile, so it's all going to be squadrons. So we're going to get 1 fighter squadron and 2 bomber squadrons right here. Okay, so I'm going to take my fighter squadron and put him back with my P-38s, so they got some replacements. And then I got 2 bomber groups, so I'm going to put both of these with the B-24s. So I'm going to strengthen him up so he can absorb. I don't want to lose the group. Okay, so that's my B-24s. So that concludes the USAF groups and manufacture. Now we add, remove bombing campaigns. Well, there's no bombing campaign to add or remove, so that's done. And now we're back to the RAF attack and then mission construction. So we're back where we started the first turn at. All right, so we're moving along here. So here we go. So we're gonna roll. We're gonna use the green die, and we need the British to do something for us. And they roll a 2. So they don't hit anything that we wanted them to hit. Okay, so we do our mission construction again. All right, now I'm coming in here and I need to hit those 2 targets over here, and then I've got 3 groups. So I'm going to send my B-24s first, and I'm going to send them with the P-38s as escorts. And they're going to go to Brest. And then I'm going to send a B-17 group with a P-47 escort. Yeah. Nope, I'm going to send both B-17 groups with the P-47 escort, and they're going to Saint Nazaire. So I'm going to try to hit this thing and see if I can't knock it out and get this where I don't have to worry about it. I hope, anyway. Okay, so we've done our mission construction. Now we execute. So we execute them in this order, the first one and then the deeper one. So here comes, this group's coming into Brest. We'll put Brest back down. We have the P-38s. And now we roll to see what the Germans scramble. So we use the red die. The Luftwaffe groups, and this is coastal, and he rolls a 2. Nobody scrambled, so they didn't see us coming. So the P-38s, they don't do anything. They come back, they're done, and the bombers are going to get hit by anti-aircraft fire. So they have 1, and 1 is 2. So a firepower of 2 drops them down to 1. We roll both dice, and they get a red 2, which is 0, so no damage. And I hit Brest. Okay, so we're gonna pull, and we get number 6. So Brest has a number 6 for it. Okay, well, that was successful, and the B-24s come out unscathed. All right, now we come to Saint Nazaire. So they're up here. We got Saint Nazaire, and we're gonna have my P-47s looking to duel if they scramble anybody. So we're rolling now for the Luftwaffe scramble. I don't know, it's a 1, and we're on the interior zone this time, which is none. I got lucky. They were looking for something else, or they've already been up chasing something. So the P-47s come back, no damage. And now they have anti-aircraft fire of 3, plus 1 is 4. So now they're on column 4 on the anti-aircraft fire, and they get a red 4 on column 4 is 1 hit, and it's a green 1, it's 1 damaged. Okay, so out of my B-17s, I'm going to take 1 damaged force, and the B-17s come back home. And we're going to draw for the damage on Saint Nazaire. This worked out really well because I hit both those bases. Oh, it's another 6, so I'd hope I don't get a 6 on the roll. That's the only thing. If you draw the same number, man, that's not good. Okay, takes care of that. Score campaigns and victory points. Well, the first thing is the bombing campaign. So I hit both targets. So it moves this down by 2. I'm at -2. Now we do victory points. I still have 1 damage, It's -1, but he gets +8, so that's 7 more. So that puts him at 14. So I move this to 4, move that up to 10. He gets 1 point for Berlin not having any damage, moves it up to 1, that's 15. Okay, and I have no groups damaged, so he gets no points for that. Okay, so he's now at 15 points. All right, now we do Germany retreat, nope. And we do Luftwaffe refit. There's nobody to refit, so I don't have to do that. So he gets new manufactured. He's going to get 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He doesn't have any groups over here in his pool, so it's all squadrons coming out. So he's going to have 6. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, now we're going to check this for the this is for the new manufacturer. Okay. Yep, gotta get to the right one. Okay. If there are any, they're always starting with the strongest Luftwaffe group in the, which there weren't any. Okay. Then squadrons come back, which are attached one at a time to the priority Luftwaffe group. Okay, priority groups. So there is a table for the priority group right here in the rulebook on page 4. It tells you Luftwaffe AI. Priority Luftwaffe group is the group on the board with the least attached squadrons. If a tie is the group with the highest combat factor. If tied, it's the group in the lowest numbered track. Okay, so I have 6 of these. All right, so we know the 190s, the DE520s, and the 109 all have them, and one of the 110s. So we're going to refit all the 110s first. So they go 1 there, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and that leaves me with 1 for the next unit. Now it goes to the strongest unit again. So you got a 190, a 190, and a 190, and because they're all even, then it goes to the one in the lowest numbered, which is back out here in zone 4. So he now has 2 squadrons attached to that group. Okay. And now we go German bombing repair. Here we go. And we roll. And it is, well, it could have been worse. 1 and a 5. So this one, they repaired Osnabrück. So that goes back in the cup, and the 1 doesn't fix anything. So both submarine bases, I got them out of whack. I don't have to mess with them this time. All right, we're going to go back to phase 1, and we're going to go to March 1943. And the bombing campaign, like I said, I'm not real sure how well you'll be able to see that, but oops. Here you have the bombing campaign, which is subs, and where the lines underscored is railroads. So the railroads are going to become a target also this turn. Okay, and they're going to get Focke-Wulf 190, another DE 520 for their reinforcements, for their new groups. So they're going to get new groups. Okay. All right, first thing we do is relocate the anti-aircraft +2 marker, and it is a 5-5. 5-5 puts it in zone 6, so he moves it over here to zone 6. So they have that one there now. Okay. All right. And reinforces core area. So he's a 1, but nobody has 3 in theirs yet. So nobody gets reinforced over to the core area. This is a good chance, if they don't stock anybody up in there, to slip through there and hit a couple of these targets up through here maybe. Okay. All right. Place any new groups that are arriving. So I said it was a Focke-Wulf 190 and a DE 520. So we have a Focke-Wulf 190 and the DE 520. Okay, so these are the guys that they're getting, and they both have squadrons with them. All right, so we're going to place the 190s first. So we roll for them, and they get a 1 and a 4. So it's a green 4 and a red 1. They go into area 3. So this Focke-Wulf 190 is here. Now we roll for the DE 520, and he gets a red 5, green 6, red 5, zone 8. Okay, so he's out here in zone 8. Okay, that zone 8 is ugly over there. As long as I don't roll any 6s on the refit, I don't have to go over there. And they're in a position where they could get repositioned. So like I said, here's my chance to slip through there. Okay, USAF, new groups. In this month, I'm still at 1 and 2 for my refits, and I get a USAF P47. So I get my P47 first, so I'm going to get another P47 group. And he comes with a squadron. So now I got 2 P47s. So I'm starting to get some fighter support, but I haven't picked up any bomber groups yet. Okay, and then we get refit. The first thing is a fighter refit. And that's wrong. That should have been a bomber refit, not a fighter. And I wonder if I got them marked. Gotta make sure I got them marked with the right ones. Yep, so the bomber gets that, because that's where that loss came from, was the anti-aircraft fire. Okay. All right. So that's it for the refit. That was all that was damaged. And now I get new manufacture. Well, I don't have any groups to pull out of there. So they're going to get 1 fighter, 2 bombers. So we get 1 fighter and they get 2 bombers right here. So the bombers are going to go to the B-17s this time. Build them up. And my P-47 is going to take on another squadron, building him up. Okay, that's good, because we're going to go see if we can't get in here and do some damage up here in this middle zone this time. I don't have to worry about those guys over there. Okay, add remove bombing campaigns. So we're going to add a bombing campaign. We have a bombing campaign marker, and it comes over here on railroads, and it goes in the start box. And I got to look at this, because now I got bombing campaigns I got to handle for these things. So I got these railroads. So now we place them. I have Stuttgart up there. I have Amiens. He's over here. We have Aachen there. I have Cologne. Let's see, where's Cologne at? Cologne there in the middle. I have Frankfurt. He's up here. And I have Bielefeld right here. Okay, so problem with this is that's a lot of anti-aircraft fire. The good news is out there, this one's got extra anti-aircraft fire. So this is a weak zone. I could go hit 2 rail targets right here. I can go deep, and he doesn't have much fighter cover. And I could go after them. And it's just that you're going to have some anti-aircraft fire, but my bomb groups have the extra squadrons. So I think I'm going to send the B-17 group right here after Aachen, and he's going to take the P-38s as fighter escort. Okay. Now, you see this says interior. That's as far as the fighter escort can go. So he can't get him all the way to Stuttgart. P-38s are the same way. They get intermediates. They can do coastal or intermediate. But I could go try to hammer that one. And I'm I'm going to send the B-24s to Stuttgart. See if I can hit that real target right there. Okay. I got this B-17 that I'm going to send here. He's going to take his fighter escorts, all of them, and they're going to go to, they're going to go hit Gotha. All right. So that's what I've decided to, targets I've decided to go after. All right. So here we go. Actually, I was supposed to do an RAF attack and then my mission construction. So let's roll for the RAF attack. So he gets a 4. So nothing. Again, the RAF has done nothing. My British compadres are not doing what I need them to do. I've set up my bombing missions, so they're ready to go. So here we go. We're going to execute. So we're going to Gotha, right here. And my P-47s are going to be right here and right here. And then the B-17s will be up there. And he's got a 110 group. And so this is intermediate. We're going to roll for his interception. He gets a 3. And a 3 in the interior is half. But because there's only one group, he attacks. So he's going to tangle with my fighter escort. So he has a strength of 3, which is on the column number 1. And he gets a 5 and a 6. So a 5 is 1, he got the hit, and a 6 is destroyed. So he actually destroyed one of my squadrons, but I'm going to take it off of this group right here. I'm firing back with 10, 12, 14, and I get to count that one, which is 16, but it was destroyed. So 16 is my firepower, and I actually got the column 16. So here we go. And we get a red 3 on 16 is 2, and we get a green 1 on 2 is 2 damaged. So I didn't destroy anybody, but I damaged 2 of them. Okay, so the 110 and his squadron goes into the damaged forces area. And now we attack Gotha with the bombers. So the P-47s come home. They're back. They lost a squadron. And we're going to get attacked by 6 anti-aircraft and 3 there. So that's a firepower of 9. 9 puts them at a 7. So they get 4 and a 4. A 4 is 1. And 4 is 1 damaged. So my squadron, one of my B-17 squadrons, gets damaged, and my B-17s come back. He goes into the damaged forces, and we hit Gotha. Oops. And it is a 2. Okay, so Gotha takes a hit. All right. I got them. Scored some hits there. All right. Score the campaigns. All right, so I hit. Oh, I'm not done yet. That was just that mission. I got these 2 missions. Gee whiz. Okay, this guy is going to Aachen. We're going to Aachen. And P-38s are flying fighter escort. And let's see what he does. Does he scramble? He gets a 4. And a 4 is all, which is the 1 group. So he's got his 110s attacking my P-38s. So his 110s is 3, which translates down to a 1. And he gets a red 5, 1 hit. And a green 1 is 1 damaged. So my P-38s gets damaged, that group. That had 5, which translates to a 4. And we rolled a 4 and a 6. So a 4 is 1 hit, and the 6 on 1 hit is 1 destroyed. So I knock out his squadron right here. So that squadron got destroyed and goes back to his dead pile. The P-38's out. And now the 110's attacking along with the anti-aircraft fire. So he has 4, 5 in anti-aircraft fire, and one more 6 with the BF-110s. So that drops them down to 4. They roll, and they get a 6 and a 1. So he hits 2 hits. That sucked. And a 1 is 2 damaged. So both my squadrons got damaged. And I get to fire back on a 5. So that's a table of 4 with my bombers. And they get a red 4, which is 1 hit. And a green 1 is damaged. So the 110 got damaged. So he got sent back to the damage table. Nope. Yes. And my B-17s had 2. What the heck did I do? He had 2 damaged. Yeah. On the B-17s. So he's got all them damaged, and the B-17 comes home. Is that right? He had a 4, 5, 7. No. Yes. He had 2 damaged. Yeah, 2 damaged. Okay, the B-17 comes home. Okay, and I got to pull for the damage to Aachen. And it is another 2. Okay. All right. This B-17 group goes to Stuttgart, and they have no fighters to worry about. They're B-24s. He's got 6, and 1 is 7. So he's on firepower 7. And they get, I think that's going to be good, a 1. Yes, no damage. So my B-24s deliver their payload, and they come back, and they hit Stuttgart. Okay. Oh, it's another 2. I hope I don't roll a 2. All right. Now we do score campaign victory points. So for the campaign, we hit 2 targets, 2 railroad targets, 1, 2. And he still has 1, 2, 3, 4 undamaged, so he gets 4 points back. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that puts him at a 2. That's why you got to keep hitting these guys and hope they don't repair. Okay. Now for victory points, I don't have any of his industries damaged, so he gets 9 points for that. So that moves him up to 24, and that's it for, and 1 point for Berlin not having any damage. Okay. So I'm going to have to figure out how to get in there and hit Berlin and cause him some damage. All right. No retreat. Luftwaffe refit, then manufacture. Okay, so the refit is 6 points. So they can refit 2 110s in this squadron 3. Refits must be in the damage. Yep. Okay. So the priorities are the 110. This one is going to go to this staging area, and this one goes to this staging area, and then they get their squadron, and it goes to the priority of the ones that don't have a group with them, and then we take the lowest number. So it goes to the 110 in core area 2. So he's got a squadron with him. That's their refit. Okay, now we get new forces. I damaged him, so he only gets 5 this time, and they're all squadrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so his 190s, he has 2 there. He has 1 there, and I think I messed up a while ago. He should have had 2 here. Doesn't matter. He gets 1 over here now. And the other 190 gets 1 over here. And then the 109, he gets 1. Because he's a firepower of 2. So he gets 1. And now we have 110s and DE 520s that are going to get reinforcements. So they're all ones. So now there's a 110 that doesn't have one. He would have gotten the first one to begin with anyway. Okay, now we go to the one in the lowest numbered of these tracks. So we have 2 of them. So we'll give this guy, he gets 2 squadrons now. So you can see they're building up there because we're not over there tangling with these guys. All right. And now we do German bombing repair. Here we go. And they get crap. 6 and a 3. Well, none of the rails, but the 2 sub pins just got repaired. Okay. Dang it. Sub pins are back on the board again. Luckily, they're down here at 0. So they didn't add any. So I can actually wait a turn. Maybe they'll move some of this stuff out of there. I think they will on the next turn. Okay, that's going to move us up to April 1943. And I think we'll probably stop right here. We'll be ready to come back in April. I think this is a pretty good start. I'll let you guys get a look at it. I'm going to be out of town for a couple days, and then when we get back, I'll get to, run another one. But you can see the game right now, because I don't have a lot of forces, is moving pretty quick. And you really got to think about, okay, when do I start hitting some of these guys? So I'm trying to slow down his new production, but I'm going to have to start slowing down his victory points too. And I'm going to have to take some shots up through here with these guys. But now I'm getting some fighters. But in April, he loses a 109 school, and I lose the P-38 squadron. So that's those guys are going to come off of there, and that's going to change what's happening a little bit. Okay, so we'll be at that point when we come back. I got to hit these rail targets too because of this. Hopefully this anti-aircraft will move somewhere where I don't have any rail targets to hit, and I can slip in there maybe and hammer, see if I can hammer us away some another one in the intermediate, get over here and see what else. It's going to be the next turn, May, before I start picking up some bomb groups, and then in fact it's quite a while before I start picking up any more fighter groups. So again, I'm going to have to be hitting these coastal areas, trying to punch through here. Hopefully they don't scramble everybody and hit me hard. This is fun. There's a lot more thinking to it than you think when you look at the game, and it's kind of basic and you're like, yeah, there's not much to this game, but man, what do I hit? Now I got to hit the sub bases again. Now I got to hit the rail heads again. And those sub bases are going to go all the way through the first year, 1943. So they're a thorn in your side, having to tangle with them. And hitting these railheads is keeping me from, hitting these other targets that I need to hit. But they're already, after 3 months, he's already gotten 24. Sorry, I had to make a quick battery change. They're already at 25 victory points after 3 months. So I got to slow that down too. So lots goes on, and they came in and repaired their sub pins. Now I got to go deal with them. I got railheads. The problem with this is I got 3 targets with a 2 on them. That's concerning because they can all of a sudden recoup a whole bunch of those. So I got to see if I can hit this sub pins again. Probably not this turn. I let them come back up 2, and then I can hit them, so I can still target the railheads and see if I can keep them down. Amiens would be a good one to hit. Bielefeld is a tough one because of anti-aircraft fire. Cologne would be nice if I could get through there, but they got a big group right in there, so it's going to take some fighter cover to get me in there. And they're going to come after us when we're in there. So, yeah, lots to think about. So far, it's been fun, like I said. Okay, so that's going to be it for tonight. Like I said, we'll be back on it here late in the weekend and see where we go next. But so far, so good. And just Hope my strategy hangs in there until I start to get some bomb groups and can start hitting some of these things and maybe start damaging enough of his fighters. But he's building his fighters up fast and furious. All right. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And as always, please give me a thumbs up and a like for the video. Helps the channel. And I will see you guys on the next one. Have a good one.